This week we're getting ready for San Diego Comic-Con with a couple of new reveals.
Plus we've got information about what Lucasfilm is bringing to D23 Expo and even more Batuu for you.
Buckle up, here we go.
This is the Star Wars Show from the Lucasfilm headquarters in San Francisco. Here's your hosts, Andy and Anthony.
Hello and welcome to the Star Wars Show, a Star Wars show that's already planning the big twist ending for its series finale.
Wait, we're going off the air?
No, that's the twist. We have to do this show until we're ghosts.
Are we already ghosts?
Now that's a twist. And this is the news.
San Diego Comic-Con begins tonight, and ILMxLAB is giving away brand new Vader Immortal collectible posters at the event.
The 6 posters feature characters from Episode 1 of the Star Wars VR experience.
A limited amount of the posters will be available each day at the show at the Lucasfilm Pavilion.
But to get the poster featuring Lord Vader himself, you'll have to be at ILMxLAB's Star Wars Stories panel on Friday.
For more information, follow ILMxLAB and visit starwars.com/SWS.
Lucasfilm will also be bringing the aforementioned Lucasfilm Pavilion to D23 Expo this August.
Much like at Comic-Con this week, D23 Expo attendees will be able to check out the Stormtrooper exhibition featuring generations of Stormtrooper armor, including the brand new Sith Trooper from Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Plus, for the families in attendance, the pavilion will also host an area for younglings and Padawans filled with activities, including a chance to discover the Star Wars Galaxy of Adventures shorts.
And of course, The Mandalorian will be there as well when executive producer Jon Favreau is joined by Dave Filoni and other special guests during an onstage presentation, offering a glimpse at the new series during the Disney Plus panel on Friday, August 23rd at 3 p.m.
For more on D23 Expo, check out d23.com or starwars.com/SWS.
Finally this week, the opening dates for Star Wars Rise of the Resistance have finally been revealed.
The attraction puts guests in the middle of a climactic battle between the Resistance and the First Order and features characters like Rey and Kylo Ren.
And you can experience it yourself at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Orlando at Disney's Hollywood Studios on December 5th and later on January 17th, 2020 when it opens at Disneyland Resort in Anaheim.
Plus, a brand new poster for the attraction has been revealed featuring Kylo standing menacingly above a fleet of troopers and walkers, while an X-Wing pilot and BB-8 prepare for battle amongst the spires of Batuu.
And while you can't get on Rise of the Resistance right now when you're at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, one attraction that is waiting for you to experience is Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
And wouldn't you know it, here's a segment talking about how it came to life.
Synergy, y'all!
It's like we planned it.
It's like we planned it.
It's just like we planned.
Almost as if we had this figured out.
At Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, we have Hondo Ohnaka, who is a cunning businessman, and he has tons and tons of ships, lots of cargo, and he's invited all of you to come be his crew members.
Everyone wants to know what it's like to fly the Millennium Falcon. This was something that we had figured out pretty early on.
The Millennium Falcon you can experience is the definitive one. And by that, what I mean is that there were many different iterations. For the original trilogy, we had an 88-foot version. For our more recent films, they varied between 110 to 112. We took all that information, all those elements, and distilled it down into the one iconic Millennium Falcon, both in scale and in detail.
We had Lucasfilm to help us develop a look for where we wanted to go and where we were going to take this adventure. And we ultimately settled on the planet Corellia. And then since then, we've been working with ILM on developing all of the asset and the art for the actual experience.
It really was about what do we want our guests to be able to experience visually, and then what do we want them to be able to do. We made sure that we actually designed the queue in such a way that there are all of these amazing views, angles, wonderful opportunities to get all of those amazing Instagram photos. And then finally into the cockpit, we had to sort of think about, well, what are the aspirational things that we know that people have been longing to do aboard the Millennium Falcon? One dimension of that is obviously getting to pilot the ship. Next, making sure that there was an opportunity to allow our guests to play the role of gunners. And then lastly, a flight engineer to help keep the ship in working order.
Most of our collaboration was with Epic and the Unreal Game Engine to help deliver this real-time content. And because of how it's set up in the attraction and this multi-projection system with a live actuated ride vehicle that you're moving, there was a ton of new technology that had to be developed to deliver the kind of quality we wanted for our guests to see.
We're entering the cinematic world of John Williams music, but we also had to treat the music with respect as far as being able to follow the guest's choices and not feel like a disconnect. There are tools in the video game world that we were able to use and apply here, and given that advanced information of where the choices were going to be made by the guests, our orchestration teams were basically able to go in and write and arrange the music in a way to where it could seamlessly hand off at a variety of points throughout the experience.
The Millennium Falcon for me is one of my favorite characters within the Star Wars galaxy, so making sure that the ability for guests to come back and ride multiple times and get something different every time is something I'm super excited for them to experience.
I might do a silly take where like it's raining unicorns or something like that. But that never gets, into the final film. My name is Charmaine Chan, and I'm a senior compositor at Industrial Light and Magic. A compositor is generally the person who is at the end of the pipeline. They're the ones who put things like the live action plates, the CG renders, deal with lighting, atmosphere, effects work. They are the ones who are the last ones to touch everything and make it the final shot that you see on the screen. I usually describe this job as fancy advanced Photoshop, where you're just like layering things together, except you're dealing with elements that happen to be moving and elements that come from all different disciplines that are some of the best work that you'll see. I got this job back in 2007. It was my first job out of college. I actually started as an entry-level position as a resource assistant. I then transitioned into the role as an assistant technical director, and that's what gave me the more general overview of the pipeline. That's when I kind of figured out that I wanted to be more on the end side of the things, which is compositing. One of my favorite moments was my first ever Star Wars project, which was The Last Jedi. I remember seeing a lot of the concept art and seeing all these really, really cute creatures. I went to my coordinator, and she happened to give me a pork shot, and I didn't know that this pork shot was going to be the pork shot. It was a really fun little shot. We were looking at little details like the texture of the pork's tongue, and then the moment it came out on the first trailer and like seeing and hearing everyone's reaction to the porks was probably one of the best things ever. Generally, you're dealing a lot of just like sitting at your desk, making new iterations of shots, and sometimes that requires really long hours, but we're all very passionate about this work and really want to get the best image across. The main advice I would give to anyone who wants to work here is if you're passionate about working in this industry, if you're passionate about Star Wars, if you're passionate about filmmaking, to just keep pursuing it. There might be a lot of different tasks that you might have to do or roles that you have to start off with that's not exactly what you want to do, but if you love it, just keep at it and eventually you'll get to it.
You're watching the Star Wars show.
Could you imagine being Charmaine and sitting on that pork shot for ages and knowing how awesome it was months before the public did?
I wonder what she's currently hiding from us.
Should we end the show and find out?
Yes,
Okay.
yes we should.
Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and always look both ways before crossing the street.
Especially if you're an American visiting the United Kingdom, because they drive backwards over there.
Good point. Thanks for watching, and may the force be with you.
I don't mean on the wrong side of the road.
No, it's true, man.
They drive in reverse. Pavilion, Lucasfilm, man.
Sith Trooper. Of course, the Mandalorian will, well, when executive...
The attraction pooks. That's what we call nailing it in one.